This cocky fighter knocks out his opponents and then laughs at them. For 12 years, he has been humiliating fighters all over the world and in various leagues. Now it's time to do the same with the UFC's newest star. Michael Venom Page is one of the most unique fighters in the world. So let me tell you about his fights from his early days to his latest fight in the UFC. British-born Michael Page got into the world of martial arts from birth. His parents studied Kung Fu Kanga and instilled their passion in their children.
In terms of the martial arts, he didn't really have much choice to start with, because I did martial arts, his father did martial arts. So when he was 0, basically, I used to go to classes, he'd be in the pushchair, and that was a sort of the start of it all, and him wanting to just be there and take part.
Michael grew up surrounded by 9 siblings, each of whom also practiced martial arts. He competed in his first kickboxing tournament at age 5. By the age of 8, he was already flying to Germany to compete, and almost every week he competed in British tournaments. The victory of 12-year-old Michael at the US Open Championship in Orlando was significant. It was bizarre. Things happened during the fights that had never happened before. He said, "I was dodging punches I didn't even see coming. Things were happening before I even realized it. Back home in the United Kingdom, he was suddenly too good for the British kids." No one could stand up to Page. By the age of 13, he was given permission by his father to compete against adults. He fought a lot. For every tournament, Page entered himself in 3 weight classes. He once had 22 fights in a day in 5 categories and won them all. In his weekly bouts, he honed his own style, an entertainer's style. In the interview, he said, "I realized one thing. If you understand the sport, counting points will not be fun. I was trying my best to attract as many people as possible, but I like to ignore other people's work." Page drew inspiration from everything he could get his hands on, from Anderson Silva's fights, to Michael Jackson's dance plasticity, to Jackie Chan movie. Here and there he found moves that he adapted to his own. He said, "I always knew that whatever I did, I would do it my way. Otherwise, I wouldn't be happy with it." He has won several kickboxing championships in different versions, but he has been particularly strong in the semi-contact, where the fight lasts until the first clear hit. He also placed second at the 2010 World Martial Arts Games. Page won almost every kickboxing trophy he could and felt he had stopped developing. He spent several years doing gigs that brought him no money or fame. A popular amateur kickboxer couldn't make a living from the sport. A born showman could not stay within a strict routine. To reveal his talent, he needed a bigger stage. Michael decided to switch to MMA. Was doing so well in the kickboxing.
I wanted a new challenge, and that's what brought me to mixed martial arts.
After a long search for a training camp, he settled on London Shoot Fighters, one of the oldest gyms in Britain. Having started training in July 2011, the following February, 24-year-old Michael got his first fight. His opponent was another debutant, Ben Gishman. Venom dealt with him in a minute and had time to squeal a little. He also remembered to pose for the camera instead of taking a shot.
The London Shoot Fighter screaming out and trying to take it seriously, and there's a spinning kick. That is unbelievable. I'm sad about this guy's kickboxing pedigree. I told you, gentlemen, that this guy was an explosive athlete.
Incredible confidence for a debut. In the cage, Page is an artist. He's been dubbed the new Anderson Silva, but Venom's passion for the game could cost him the win, and the audience knew it. After the fight, he said, "It's weird that my style is getting negative attention. A lot of people say, 'Yeah, you look amazing,' and then they ask how long I'm going to last. Sponsors say, 'We like you and want to spend money on you, but we don't know how long you'll last.'" In his next fight, Page seriously overpowered his opponent's arm in the armbar.
Gets clipped, Page gets clipped.
Listen to the armbar.
This man, no submissions too. And he's got it, he's got it. Wow, the referee screamed stop numerous times.
That didn't stop him from showing the audience his tongue.
Kept on the technique.
He also had his only professional kickboxing fight against Jefferson George.
They're here to bring it.
Page was playing again, dancing,
He's just getting on.
swinging his arm Apollo Creed style,
Apollo Creed style.
not forgetting to hit accurately.
Have that,
Michael Venom
Page.
Page. And there's the dancing.
Sometimes George himself crushed his opponent's thin leg, gave out spectacular blows, but it was impossible to beat Page on his own turf.
Walking his man down. Wow!
A deceptive move, a knockout, and again, a spectator's game. Venom knew for sure that his opponent would not get up. After his victory, he signed with two promotions, American Bellator and the Indian Super Fight League. Michael made his debut in the Indian promotion, facing undefeated Egyptian Haytham Tantawi. Venom raised his hand victoriously even before the bell.
Let's fight! Round one, baby.
He had learned well how to confuse his opponents with his game, to keep them in constant tension when it was not clear where the blow would come from.
Oh, trying to land a spin.
The Egyptian could not cope with his footwork,
Tag him.
and most importantly, with his sense of distance. Another knockdown.
Oh! 1-2 combo.
But it was too early to celebrate again. A beautiful finish was taken away from Page by the doctors.
Michael
He didn't let that happen when he made his Bellator debut.
Good time, it's Miller time. Oh, good right hand. He's in big trouble. And that is it. A knockout win for Michael Page in his USN Bellator debut.
Next up for Venom is Ramdan Mohammed.
Middleweight.
Page continued to hit it 1-2 with blitz. Ramdan met him with a right, then tried a takedown.
Well.
Michael was ready and defending against the takedowns. He was showing off his jaw, pulling him towards him and shooting it.
He's got some.
Everything right until...
Muhammad went into the clinch again, only to end up on the floor, where MVP easily choked him out.
Elbows, Michael, elbows.
Oh, that's it, that hard.
That is the end.
By rear naked Joe.
Afterward, Page finally got his first relatively serious opponent, future UFC fighter Ricky Rainey, with a 9-2 record.
The bell in round number 1.
Throughout the fight, the American tried to get in at close range, but Venom easily avoided the clinch, ending the encounter with a right through an arm.
Big right hand. That's it. Kevin McDonald steps in.
This time, he took a bow to the crowd.
Michael Page, just like that, he's 6-0. Man, he just put the left of his vision.
For 2 fights in Bellator, Michael became one of the most discussed fighters in the company. The nature of the discussions varied. As much as fans, Page has also gained haters who disapprove of his bravado. But Page had this to say: "I think it's important for fighters to entertain. It's part of our job. People pay good money to see us, which allows us to make money. We have to put on a show. That's what athletes are afraid of during a fight. They don't reveal themselves. They have a fear of losing. But as for me, I prefer to enjoy it." And Page went on to do the show, this time with Nashon Burrow. The showman of Venom's opponent was not a good showman, so they had to work him until the final bell.
Left, but that's a risky gamble.
Michael Venom Page.
Barrel was followed by Rudy Beers. He didn't ruin Michael's show and fell in the first round.
Oh, huge left, and it's over. They're down the track. It's one of those things you can't believe what you just saw. You just saw Michael Venom Page. Beautiful shot.
Bellator debutant Charlie Antiveros was next.
Land nice elbows.
These are big shots.
Another good
big
one.
shots.
That's
And it's
it.
over. Right? Back, four. Michael Venom Page.
The MVP then forced Jeremy Holloway to submit and brought his record to 10-0.
Right hand by Ed right in that rock Holloway.
That hurt him. From there, he can push him with the foot, but he can't kick him.
And that's it.
He reverse ankle locked him, counter ankle locked him.
He promised us we would see something new, and we did.
Among the 10 opponents he defeated, there was not a single fighter the audience knew before the fight. After such a fun start, more was expected of Page. Bellator management had to pair him with someone known to the fans. Venom signed a contract to fight Paul Daly, but the latter decided to fight Douglas Lima. The choice then fell to Evangelista Santos, a veteran of many fights. Page immediately started hammering his opponent. A 1-2 and a take head.
Good right hand.
He confused opponent with movements and hit with a knee.
Big jump knee.
Problem is,
Page let the Brazilian up on the near side and allowed him to go for the takedown. Venom didn't get confused and tried a painful submission.
what would it mean if he submitted? Santos could be saving him right now.
Santos took sight control, but was never able to capitalize on it before the bell.
A strong, quick start from MVP.
In the second round, Page continued to press his opponent to the net, breaking through his defender.
A little discipline there.
The Brazilian fought back. Michael caught him on one of these attacks.
The lip shot. It can come back. Did the hype train just pick up?
While his opponent was writhing on the floor, Page thought it was appropriate to catch him like a Pokeball. After the fight, it was revealed that the Brit had literally fractured Santos' skull with his knee. Fortunately, Evangelist got away with a few metal plates in his head and ended his career. When asked in an interview about his future plans, Page said, "I want to be the face of MMA." The loud words were to be confirmed in a fight against the experienced Fernando Gonzalez, a former King of Cage champion going on a streak of 5 straight wins in Bellator. The start of the fight was cautious, with Page showing by his looks that he was waiting for his opponent's actions.
Could have done more and I didn't.
He forced Michael to fight up a net, where he felt much more confident. For the rest of the round, Gonzalez stalked Page around the cage, who skillfully avoided the open fight.
MVP Michael Venom.
After the most boring win of his career, Michael tried again to get a fight with Paul Daly, but the latter took a strange stance. First, he refused to face Page for a fight with Rory McDonald. After losing to the Canadian, he publicly insulted and challenged Venom and then attacked him in the cage side. However, Daly apparently decided that the confrontation with Page had not yet taken place and asked for a fight with Lorenz Larkin, and the company, as always, went along with it. MVP found himself in an interesting position. At the peak of his form and popularity, he was sitting without a fight. One could have asked for another opponent or tried to break his contract with Bellator in favor of the UFC. But Venom chose the third way and moved to boxing, signing a contract with David Hayes' company for 15 fights. For his debut, he was matched up with an opponent with a 2-11 record. Page had no trouble shooting him from distance until he knocked him out.
Oh, what a right hand! And down goes Castano. Referee Bob Williams tolling the count. And that was...
No one canceled his obligations with Bellator, and after a year and a half of downtime, Michael returned to the cage again. Spoiling his comeback was David Rickles. He is a former lightweight contender with a record of 19-4. Like all of Page's previous opponents, he couldn't keep up with all of his moves. Venom was in complete control of the pace of the fight, saw all of Rickles' moves, even blindly dodging and joking about it.
It's a metronome. David Rickles standing in front of him and gets tagged with a three-punch combination by Michael Venom Page. There's another.
When Page began to openly taunt him, Rickles rushed forward.
Caused a leaky fire. Rickles gets tagged by the right hand.
Venom, as usual, didn't go for the kill. His opponent just gave up.
Referee, he's giving up. It's over. Michael Venom Page, 14-0. And all I can say is mom.
After the victory, MVP, like Marvel's Thanos, put on the Infinity Gauntlet. He thought that curtsying to the teenagers was not enough, and so a Fortnite dance followed. Afterward, Page left MMA for another year and continued his boxing career. To raise the level of opposition, Venom decided to raise the level of opposition smoothly. Therefore, for the second fight, Venom chose an opponent with a record of 1-5. The one did not resist for a long time.
Before the opening 3 minutes, what a right hand! And that could well, both of them have come inside the distance, courtesy of that potent right cross that he possesses. Back inside, really.
Bellator in 2019 held a Grand Prix in the welterweight division, gathering 8 of the best representatives of the division. It was time to meet Paul Daly. Paul Daly? Page answered, "I don't know who that is. I've never heard of him. I don't even know who you're talking about. Probably some random janitor with a big mouth." Although Daly answered Page even harder, he looked completely unsure of himself. This was confirmed at the weigh-in. In the fight, the uncompromising puncher Paul was stinging at the net and missing. He even took down Page and hit a few times. The second takedown also didn't bear any fruit for Daly. Page himself worked more effectively and won by judges' decision. Michael advanced to the semifinals of the Grand Prix, where former champion Douglas Lima was waiting for him.
To the final, wanting another.
Page started the fight with a signature series of punches. The Brazilian was ready. He wasn't frustrated with Venom's mind game.
And hypnotize Lima.
Lima calmly worked front leg. Page responded with crosses. Lima read those attacks. Once in the clinch,
Boxing Day last year, Lima.
He didn't force things and was slow to approach Page's head, but he defended well.
Able to stop everything.
Venom started the second round with spinning kick. He caught Lima with a 1-2 and rushed in to attack.
He's not quite at 100%.
Oh, and there's what a shot by Lima! Mamma mia! Douglas Lima has just defeated Michael Venom Page in impressive fashion.
Page had been hitting this combination too many times, and he was finally being read.
That right hand, boom, touches that chin. He is unconscious. You see him go out right away. Watch this, boom, he's out.
Michael calmly took his first defeat in his career, and it seemed that it would push him to change. But in the next fight, Venom fought an unknown Irishman, Richard Keeley. The fight was marked only by the unsportsmanlike behavior of the fighters. First, Keeley showed a middle finger to Page. Then Michael took selfies on an invisible phone. And after the knockout, Michael parodied his opponent's twin. Page needed a long recovery. He topped the Bellator London tournament with a fight against Giovanni Malì. The fight didn't last long.
Die staat te dansen in de kooi.
His next opponent was Shin Swanza with an 11-3 record. This time, Page flew to Japan. Throughout the fight, he habitually shot his opponent at a distance and then caught him with a counter cross.
And he's starting to look like a kid in the square. It's over. And it's all over! Just like that! Michael Venom Page finishes 2019 with 3.
For the announcement of the winner, he wore a Ziploc armband and a cape from the anime Naruto. After handing his first loss to unbeaten Scott Rose Houston, Page faced against Derek Anderson with a 16-4 record. The Venom was in his usual style of moving and attacking with his hands down. Anderson accepted the challenge, also removing his hands from his head defense, for which he paid for with a broken nose. Just after break, the doctor was forced to stop. After such a brutal victory, Bellator gave Michael the chance to avenge his only career loss. At the 267th tournament, we witnessed a rematch between Michael Page and Douglas Lima. By this time, Douglas had won the welterweight tournament and even defeated the once promising Rory McDonald. Lima wanted success not only at welterweight, so he tried middleweight, where he lost to champion Gegard Mousasi.
Brazilian is going to walk away with another piece of Bellator gold. He certainly hopes so. Fashion. That's what he was afraid of.
And now two-time Bellator middleweight world champion Gegard Mousasi.
Returning to his weight class, he defended the title against Ukrainian Yaroslav Almosov, whom he also lost to due to grappling issues. However, with Michael Page, he didn't have to worry about takedowns, adding intrigue to whether MVP could avenge his humiliating defeat. From the first seconds, Michael showed no fear of Douglas, leading to a jumping strike that staggered his opponent. It wasn't a knockdown, but soon Page landed a blow that resulted in a knockdown. After the striking domination, Lima decided to test himself in wrestling, successfully taking MVP down for about 2 minutes. In the early second round, they both landed low kicks. Page delivered his signature jab, and Lima recalled his strategy from their first fight, countering with a low kick and attempting to catch Page with an uppercut. However, this time, MVP evaded. A flying knee missed its mark, but a subsequent hook connected. A jab followed by an elbow dropped Lima. Page convincingly won the first 2 rounds, but in the third, he faltered. A round, Douglas claimed. However, it didn't matter, as he needed a finish. Michael Page managed to avenge his only career loss with a unanimous decision. After this victory, MVP earned another shot at becoming a champion, albeit interim belt, since the champion Yaroslav Almosov couldn't defend his title due to the war in Ukraine. Michael faced Logan Storley, a wrestler who had lost only to the champion. The match showcased 2 fighters with only 1 career loss each. As expected, MVP sought to strike, while Storley attempted takedowns. The fight essentially played out with Page causing damage in the stand-up and Storley controlling on the ground. Controversy surrounded the judge's decision, ultimately favoring Logan Storley. It marked Michael Page's second career loss. The unexpected return after the second loss saw Michael trying bare knuckle boxing against former MMA fighter and current bare knuckle star Mike Perry. Surprisingly, Page maintained his karate style.
Telling Page with the right hand, both hands down, not ruled. 1, 2.
Perry was pressuring.
Right now, like almost a taekwondo style.
MVP delivering quick strikes at a distance. Despite this, 2 judges called it a draw, while the third awarded the victory to Mike Perry. MVP lost in close bout, but demonstrated the effectiveness of his style across various combat sports. However, his primary arena remains MMA, where he returned brutally, breaking an opponent's leg with a low kick in just 26 seconds. Following this emphatic victory, interest in Page surged again, prompting negotiations with the UFC. Despite attempts to acquire Michael by the PFL, the world's premier MMA league, the UFC, finally secured the most entertaining knockout artist. There, he faced the loudmouth, dynamic striker Kevin Holland, known for constantly taunting opponents. Holland was genuinely taken aback. Page impressed with distant control, speed, wrestling defense, and audacity. He marked his opponent multiple times and confidently won by unanimous decision. Now Michael Page ranks among the top 10 welterweights globally. Such a brilliant performance by MVP sparked great interest in him, causing fans to demand management set up an exciting matchup for him. There were many rumors about a fight with fellow karate master Stephen Thompson and other fighters who love to stand and strike. However, unexpectedly for everyone, the UFC organized a fight between Michael Page and Ian Machado, who is a top prospect from Ireland with 13 wins and no losses. Despite Ian Gary's confident words about outstriking Michael Page, the reality turned out to be quite different. Overwhelmed by fear, Gary immediately resorted to grappling. However, his attempts at wrestling didn't go well either, so he resorted to clinching and pinning Page against the cage, effectively stifling any chance for Michael to fight. In doing so, the young Irishman avoided a proper fight and secured a win by doing everything he could to avoid fighting. Even after this loss, no one was eager to accept fights against Michael Page, leaving him with a bold decision to make. To give his next opponent a confidence boost, Michael chose to move up in weight and challenge the undefeated prospect, Shara Bullet. Younger, bigger, and theoretically stronger, Shara poses a serious threat. Most importantly, despite his Dagestani Chechen appearance, Shara is a striker. This time we are guaranteed a striking showdown. What do you think? Who will emerge victorious in this clash? And if Michael wins, do you believe he has what it takes to reach a title shot in the middleweight division?